Chucky. And I'm your friend to the end. Heidi fucking ho. Ha, ha, ha.
And welcome back to Chucky Queers. It's our weekly coverage of Don Mancini's sci-fi show. And I'm Joe.
And I'm Trace, and we are discussing season 3, episode 6, Panic Room. Which the title, at least, I feel like has maybe a little bit more. It's more relevant to this episode than Death Becomes Her was last week.
Yes, I agree. There's definitely panic. There's definitely a room. There's a room where everybody panics. So I'm gonna say it's a win.
I'm going to say it's a win too. By the way, though, blowing through revelations in this episode, I could not have been happier. I thought that the events of this, like the climax of this episode, I thought that was like season finale territory.
Yes, and it's interesting because I feel like for you that was a pro. For me, I was like, "Ooh, we're rushing things a little bit quickly." Like I'm not unhappy with where we get to, but also it felt like we were burning through plot, and I just thought to myself, "We don't want to save this for the finale." Okay.
Well, I can only assume that means we're going to get like even more batshit in these last 2 episodes, given the cliffhanger we have. Although I do have one gripe, but I find this because it was so funny when I was watching this. I was like, "Oh yeah, we're blowing through plot," and I bet you Joe's not going to like that, which is funny because so many of his complaints about the episodes are normally, well, not really a lot happens. Like, where's it going to go? And then we get that in this episode, and you still don't like it.
Yes, I'm a contrarian. I cannot be appeased. No, it's an interesting episode. I feel like, we're going to approach it the way we normally do, where we kind of break it down storyline or character by character. To me, this was a little too heavy on the First Lady Charlotte and Pryce stuff. It felt a little bit repetitive. And I think that's why the finale part felt a little bit rushed, because I wanted to spend a bit more time with Chucky setting this grand plan in motion. And instead, it almost felt like he was a secondary or tertiary character.
So I'll just start at the very beginning. My only big gripe, and it was right when the episode started, I was like, oh, we don't get to see the First Lady discover her husband's corpse. And
no,
that felt like a missed opportunity, at least for Laura Jean Chorostecki to like really like, I mean, she's good in this episode, but like missing that moment, I thought kind of robbed her of something that could have been really special.
Yeah, she gets to underplay it in a bunch of other scenes. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I thought the dinner scene where all the kids are trying to make gentle conversation and she's just downing wine and completely not there. Like, this is good stuff. But yeah, I mean, we know what she can deliver, and it would have been nice to have given her a big, like, holy fuck, my husband is dead. What am I gonna do now moment.
I am really glad that we don't kill her in this episode.
Oh yeah.
I really hope she makes it out of the season alive, but I feel like we're just gonna have at least one more orphan on our hands.
Oh god. There's gonna be driving around in a van like a bunch of orphans at the end of the show.
Honestly, okay, I'm sure they've explained this, but how are they just like running that dead teacher's credit card at this hotel? Like, is that all they're doing?
They have not explained it. I don't think we will, because it's Chucky and we just roll with the punches. But yeah, I was also like, no one has checked in on these minors who are just living in a hotel.
Right? Like, shouldn't there be a welfare check from like Child Protective Services to be like, hey, teacher lady who adopted these foster kids, because that's what we do now? Again, not really an issue for me. I'm just kind of like, is no one checking on these kids?
You know what? It's an out-of-state problem. It's the states are not speaking to each other, because remember, they did a road trip to get to DC.
Yeah, they did. And I don't really know how the law works in that respect.
No.
So you know what? Sure, loophole it.
Yes, absolutely. But okay, well, why don't we stick with the kids, since their storyline is a little bit small as well. Like, this is really a First Lady and Pryce episode, but I will say I really, really enjoyed Lexi focusing on the words consummating your relationship.
Okay, the second time she said that, though, I was like, girl, use a thesaurus, like find another word.
No, it's amazing. It's a running joke.
I thought it was so I didn't like that.
Oh, I thought it was hilarious.
Not an actual critique. I just like the second time it felt like that, you know, when you're writing a film review and you're trying to describe something and you use like the same turn of phrase. That's what this felt like to me. I didn't get the running gag out of it.
Okay, interesting. I wonder if she had done it a third time, if you would have just died or been like, you know what, now I get it. I get
that. I think I would have gotten it there, but just twice didn't work for me.
I see. Okay, the rule of threes in comedy is back on the table.
Rule of twos doesn't exist, or it's a
No,
failure.
not a thing. Not a thing. But yeah,
no, this was good. We get some light joking about their fucking, which is fine.
mhm.
I do like that she at least calls them out when they're like, "Hey, we're good," and she's like, "I still have a missing sister, you assholes."
I'm glad that she's saying it because it feels like the rest of the show is not saying it. So presumably that is also where these last 2 episodes of the season are going to go. But yeah, it was nice to get the repeated affirmation. Oh, right, Carolyn is still a character in this world.
Yes. So, of course, they make their way back into the White House. We get this
Mhm.
dinner scene that you've already alluded to. And I'm not going to lie, Lexi just going, fuck it. Chucky's an evil doll. You're all in danger. I was
Yeah.
like, yes. You know what? Good.
Yeah, I also like that, especially because we had to do another scene with her apologizing to Grant for using him to get into the White House. And I like that we just put a fucking pin in that. And then we immediately shift to, yep, let's put our cards on the table. Here's what we're dealing with. And he's in, it takes him a hot second. He has to see a dead body. And then he's like, oh, okay, I'm going to follow you folks.
Which I'm like, you've seen plenty of dead bodies in the past month.
Truly. Yeah. We've also skipped over the romantic part of the episode, Trace. What did you think of our musical interlude when we sing Don't Fear the Reaper?
It reminded me of the fact that Lexi thinks she's really cool by really liking Blue Oyster Cult, but only Don't Fear the Reaper. And so this was stupid, but I didn't mind it because I think that she and this Grant character have chemistry. I'm not invested in it because there's so many other things going on.
It feels like we're putting a pause in the forward momentum every time we give them this emotional moment. And I think it's partially just because we don't have that same investment, as you said, with Jake and Devon, because we spent 3 seasons building up their romance. Whereas with Grant, it's kind of like, are we just going to kill this kid next episode? We never know.
I mean, honestly, I feel like, and again, you're just totally spitballing here, but I feel like we're going to have Henry, maybe I said this last week, but I think we're going to have Henry team up with Caroline and Grant team up with the older kids. And it's going to be like a war between the 2 generations.
I could see it. We haven't made any progress on that front, but also it's because Carolyn is still just somebody that we mention offhandedly.
Yeah, I mean, we don't even check in with Jennifer Tilly in this episode. We have not seen Nika all season. Like, have we? I can't.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Maybe she was in the first episode. Oh God, sorry, y'all. It's been a while.
It's been long enough that we don't remember.
Yeah. Okay, well, so why don't we then rewind because we're about to get to the climax. So then, honestly, it's just the First Lady and Pryce and Devon Sawa's return.
I did like that. It was unexpected, body double Jenkins and, him trying to make a meal of this performance and the First Lady just walking out on him was funny.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is all good. Again, I thought for sure we were going to kill this guy off immediately. So I like that Don Mancini is like, no, we need to keep Devon Sawa around more until we kill him again. And then we just bring him back as a new character next season.
Right. Yes. Devon Sawa needs that paycheck. How else is he going to make the cover of Fangoria if he doesn't get this plum triple, quadruple, quintuplet part on the show?
I'm telling you, it must be, there has to be like a Guinness Book of World Records for like the number of times a person has like appeared as a different character on a single TV show. We're really hitting that.
I'm gonna still give it to Tatiana Maslany for Orphan Black, but yeah, Devon Sawa's coming in. He's coming in hot.
You know what? That is true. So Tatiana Maslany, Devon Sawa.
You know what? The goats of the sci-fi world.
I think the stuff with Charlotte, the First Lady, and Pryce is fine. I'm ready for Pryce to die.
He was really annoying in this episode. And I get it that we're doing sort of like funny political jargon speak where he's saying, this is how we're going to keep everybody safe by just staying the course. Nobody's going to do anything. But it just felt like that was what the episode was about. And I felt like it got a little old after about the second time we had the same conversation.
And that's why I think opening with them discovering the body, removing one of those scenes of them fighting again, I think that would have maybe helped this episode a little bit more. I still actually prefer this episode to last week only because of all that forward momentum.
Okay.
But while the scenes with Charlotte and Pryce aren't the best, I do think Triseki is doing really good. I mean, again, like the moment she was like, I need a cigarette, I was like, you go. Smoke that cigarette.
Don't even smoke. Yeah, and she and Bellows have good chemistry. Like it's why
Mhm.
we remarked that we think that there's going to be a romantic angle. I do think this episode puts it off the table,
Yeah.
unless we do some kind of time jump forward into the future. But at this point, the relationship is so antagonistic. I can't imagine that she's ever going to forgive him.
No. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was it.
yeah. That's it. That's what this episode gives us.
So, okay, then before we get to the climax, I mean, I guess there's not really a ton going on with Chucky in this episode until the very end. But he's
Mhm.
just, brainwashing and tricking little Henry the entire time.
Yeah, yeah. Poor kid. So much therapy in this child's
Oh,
future.
I 100%. But yeah, so this all leads us to the big climax where Chucky almost starts World War III. He
Mhm.
definitely helps global warming a little bit, though.
Yes, we do destroy the North Pole. Also, I don't think you can detonate a nuke and just say it's like an activity, like a
An
trial
accident.
run or something. I was just like, oh, I coming from the United States in 2024, I think that's still a declaration
Oopsie.
of war somewhere. Like,
My bad, y'all. So sorry. But
fell
at
on the
least we,
button. I was
yeah.
asleep, I swear.
I mean, come on, you knew Chucky was going to hit that button. Like, as soon
Oh,
as he went down, I was
yeah.
like, push him away.
Grab those little doll legs and pull them back to the end of the table. I did love that we did this in slow motion, that Jenkins
Mhm.
gets a shot off. This is exactly what I would come to expect from Chucky. And I think that
Mhm.
it was like fun, frenetic, wild. And then, yeah, it's just like, I love that we get these stock footage images of like a polar bear and then
Yeah.
that's it.
Love that
So
sci-fi
silly.
budget. We had some good kills. I mean, I love the pin in the eye. I thought that was really good.
Mhm.
More gunshots, but again, we at least get Chucky narrating how he feels about gunshots.
Yes, a good amount of meta commentary from Chucky between that as well as eyeing up the kids and saying, I do love a sequel to us, the
To
camera and the
us.
audience.
Yeah, I mean, again, we had Ghost introduced last week. At this point, nothing is off the table with this franchise. But
Yes.
honestly, everyone is in the know now because
Hmm.
First Lady and Price definitely saw this evil doll.
Yes. Yes. But it's a bit of a reset, right? I mean, not only do we literally hit a button, but we end by killing Chucky definitively. So the doll is dead. But then Trace, what is this final image?
Oh my god, Brad Dourif in the flesh arrives as a ghost. I do like that they flash Chucky's face in front of him just for
Mhm.
people that don't
Just to
know
make
what
sure.
Brad Dourif looks like. But yeah, and so I'm actually really curious though, because ghosts were introduced this season, is it specifically a White House thing where it's like, okay, because of the history of this place, there's ghosts everywhere? Or is this going to be like a regular fixation in this world moving forward, you know?
Yeah, because last week we speculated that it had something to do with Damballa or Chucky's sickness, and that it was kind of like, stuck in a little geographical circle
Yeah.
around him. But then he dies, and we've still got his ghost hanging around. So I'm hoping we're going to get even just a bit of a small answer because Chucky doesn't need to explain itself. I think part of the fun is not understanding half
Yeah.
of how anything happens, but also I do need a little bit of an explanation about how this works.
Yeah, just loose rules. I don't need
Sure.
like concrete rules. I just need a
No.
loose, like, this is how it works, kind of
Yeah.
sometimes. Not all the
Yeah.
time, but
Even if it's like
sometimes.
a scene or two of him being like, how does this work? Can I put my hand through a wall? Like, can I
Which
go and re inhabit my body or anything?
that actually may be what happens though. It may because he was clearly probably like not very he didn't expect
Corporeal.
this to come out of his
Yeah.
death.
Yeah. Yeah. Question for you. I'm putting you on the spot. Is this the first time we have seen Brad Dourif as a human being since
Since
the
the first film.
original opening of Child's Play?
No, but
No.
we've seen him in flashbacks in Curse of Chucky
Okay.
because when we had, but that's it. Like it's never been like anything else. I don't think because that body's been.
Right.
Oh, I guess we saw his skeleton in Bride of Chucky,
Right. But not played by Brad Dourif.
but not played by Brad Dourif. No. But yeah, it was just those flashbacks in Curse of Chucky to how Nika got her disability in the womb.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Because again, this is one of those legacy. Obviously, Brad Dourif has been playing the role the whole time because he's been doing the vocal performance. But what a feeling to be an actor and get to come back and physically play the same character after all of this time.
That's the thing because I remember when we covered Bride of Chucky in the main feed, I was watching like the extra features and like he doesn't spend that much time in the audio booth really. It's like maybe a
Mm-mm.
couple days, if even that. And so
Right.
it's interesting that he's made such an impact on this franchise as this character of Chucky when he's not really involved with the production that much.
Once again, let's petition the Academy to recognize
Voice
vocal
actors.
performances, because
Agreed.
where is this franchise if not for folks like Jennifer Tilly, Don Mancini, and Brad Dourif?
I mean, I don't. Even if they create a best vocal performance, I don't think they're going to be nominating Chucky anytime soon. But a boy can dream.
Yes. If nothing else, it's something that we would be like, he should get a nomination for this.
Okay, so before we sign off, predictions for next week, Joe.
I think we're going to do a little bit of pretend. Everybody's going to act like everything is fine now. So I think we'll focus a little bit of attention on Carolyn, but I think, we're going to get happy times between Devon and Jake, and maybe Grant and Lexi, and I don't know, maybe a time jump.
I don't think so. I think we're going to get Tilly back. I think we're going to have a return of Jennifer Tilly after a week off. But I do think it's going to be a slower episode as you said, this is a reset of sorts. It's a new status quo. So I think it's going to be people, again, thinking everything's fine while Charles Lee Ray tries to figure out what's going on. And then it's probably getting in a big cliffhanger that's going to tie into the big action-packed finale.
Right. I am afraid, as you hinted at earlier, for First Lady Charlotte.
Oh, okay.
Also Devon, definitely Devon. I do think we're probably going to kill Devon of any of the kids.
Because I feel like we can't kill Grant because it's like Lexi needs a win or something, or I don't know. But again, as I said last week, we're really hammering in the whole like Devon being like, it's okay, I got you, we're gonna be good. And I was like, you're saying too many of these things. Like, I think we're gonna kill you.
We've all watched enough movies to know that when characters say that, that means they're about to die.
Yeah, but nevertheless, I would prepare myself for maybe a slower pace episode next week.
Okay, well,
I don't know.
We'll find out in a week.
Until then, shit, we can cross out Panic Room.
Indeed, and cross out Chucky queers.